Hi, my name is Mia, and I've conducted research on cellular respiration and what it creates. You may notice that the equations for respiration and photosynthesis are very similar. They contain the same elements, but it's in reverse. The equation is C6H12O2 plus 6O2 in the presence of light plus 6CO2 plus 6H2O. The reactants are on the left. They are glucose, oxygen, and light. The products on the right are carbon dioxide and water, and an adenosine triphosphate, or ATP. Cellular respiration is a three-step process. The first step, glycolysis, takes place in the cytoplasm and uses one ATP to split a glucose molecule. That step creates 2 ATP, 2 NADH, and 2 pyruvates, or pyruvic acids. The next step, the Krebs cycle, also known as the citric acid cycle, takes place in the mitochondria. Oxygen is fixed to pyruvates, and that makes carbon dioxide, 2 ATP, 8 NADH, and 2 FADH. The final step of cellular respiration is the electron transport chain. This process takes place in the mitochondria membrane, where a phosphate attaches to an adenosine diphosphate, ADP, to make an ATP. This ideally creates 37 ATP because 1 ATP is used to recreate the respiration. 10 NADH, 6 CO2, and 6 H2O in total. On to summary with fermentation.
In my research, I found out fermentation is a chemical breakdown of a substance by bacteria, yeast, or other microorganisms. The process of fermentation involves in the process of beer, wine, and liquor, in which sugars are converted to ethyl alcohol. There are two types of fermentation, which are lactic acid and alcohol. These two fermentations are too different in many ways. For instance, lactic acid is in the muscles of an animal cell. It produces lactic acid molecules from the pyruvates. The production is yogurt and cheese. Alcohol is in the cytoplasm. It is a biological process which it can convert sugars such as glucose, fructose, and sucrose into cellular energy, producing ethanol and carbon dioxide as its products. Many people always get so confused between fermentation and respiration. Fermentation does not contain oxygen, and respiration contains oxygen. In fact, fermentation occurs due to absence of oxygen. Cellular respiration is more efficient in producing ATP as compared to fermentation. And that is all for fermentation. Thank you for listening.
We'll be talking about photosynthesis. There's two steps in photosynthesis. The first one is light-dependent reaction. This takes place in the chloroplast and makes ATP and NADPH. The second step is light-independent reaction. This takes place in the stroma and makes sugar, AND, and phosphorus. The reactants are carbon dioxide, water, and energy. The products are glucose and oxygen, and the equation is 6CO2 plus 6H2O light, C6H12O6 plus 6O2. The importance of plants is because of the oxygen. Without plants, humans could not survive. Plants produce the oxygen we need. That is all for photosynthesis.